legislation. You're not passing laws to anti-discriminate. You're not passing laws to stop us from being, chastised, basically. From being killed by police officers, stopping us from having redlining, from trying to buy houses, getting turned down by loans, having our property value be devalued because of our color of our skin. I mean, those kind of laws should be in effect right now. Reparations is another one too. I mean, reparations, everybody got them except for us. I mean, these got reparations from the Holocaust. The slave owners reparations for losing their profit, which is black people and their slaves. How come the slaves, the workers, didn't get nothing? Nothing. Even if it was in the form of a housing credit, a housing voucher, a piece of land, 40 acres and a mule we were promised. I mean, something better than nothing.
Right.
And then to go into the future like we are right now, 2021, still facing the same exact issues from back in the 50s and 60s and before that, and trying to have our entire history still erased. Why try so hard? We are not going anywhere. I mean, the history, it is what it is. It's ugly. You don't want to look at it. You want to talk about it. We get it. But you have to acknowledge what happened. Take responsibility for it and make up for it.
Right.
It's like a healing process. You can't sit there and sweep it under the rug no more. Because everybody's aware of it now on both sides. Not just us talking. It's actually people actually seeing this shit with their eyes. So you can't deny what your eyes have seen. Having Juneteenth holiday, yay, good for that. But you're trying to pass laws and legislation that cuts out learning about Black history, the whole reason holiday existed. I mean, come on. You trying to deny that slavery actually happened because you didn't see it happen? Oh, we don't know if it really actually happened. We don't actually have proof of it because you've never seen proof doesn't mean it didn't happen. You can't discount hundreds of years of people telling their stories about how they've been victimized in this country and discount it as just fairy tale.
Right.
You can't sit there and do that. And the fact that this day and age, oh, we're not like our ancestors is a bunch of bullshit. Because if you're not like your ancestors, then why are you still having laws of legislation still passed to make things equal? And this now is going into not just the color of our skin, but also poverty. People who are just poor, period, are now all suffering. It ain't just us no more. Now they look at everybody into it. So if you ain't making some money, you're going to get, some chance you ain't going to make it somewhere,
Right.
But I mean, hey, they passed the law about, what was it, the anti-Asian hate law?
Yeah.
They passed
that was not quite anti-Asian hate, but I'll let you finish.
Well, I'm just saying that's what the bill was. Was it called?
I forget what the exact bill was called. I'm gonna have to look that up. What the exact bill was called, but it was it was positioned as anti, stop Asian hate, but it does. But a lot of Asians, when they actually, dissect the bill, it doesn't stop. They have the same grievances that you were just describing are, we're experiencing in the Black community as well, as far as it just basically enabling and empowering law enforcement to do more with the investigations, but it doesn't actually have any prevention or intervention. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the social ills and social injustices that are being seen against the Asian community aren't, being stopped by these bills passing. It's more so just saying, or something happens, we'll make sure we look into it and we'll give the authorities the most amount of resources to do the investigations.
Right. So you're still throwing bones out. You're not really doing anything.
And so that's people that have actually dissected the bill. I'm not sure if you have the ability to actually research what the name of that formally what that name what the name of that bill actually is.
Hold on, let me find it for you.
But yeah, it's like it doesn't really again stop Asian hate, and the only thing that can stop hate
is love.
What?
And,
say that again.
Only thing that can stop hate is love and respect.
And that's really the bottom line right there. So the thing with, you know, what I did find interesting as far as the optics and the you know
it's called anti-Asian hate crimes bill is what they're
the
calling
anti-Asian hate crimes bill. Okay, so again, when it comes to, you know, crime prevention and things of that nature, there's always an underlying issue that causes crime. Most of the crime that we see in a lot of communities are poverty correlated, right?
Right.
But then the other side of it is hate. And what I didn't see optics wise, you know, where we had to stop Asian hate, well, we didn't see a lot of the co-opting of the stop Asian hate movement that we saw with Black Lives Matter, Black Liberation Movement. Yeah, there wasn't any stop all hate. I didn't see all of that. You know what I mean? So I did find that interesting. I didn't see any stop all hate or you know, just love for all.
Well, I say all the time too. So why are you more important? You know,
yeah, I didn't see any stop police hate type things that was done to undermine the, you know, the Black Lives Matter. I didn't see that. So, but what I also would you know, address, kind of have to unpack a lot of what you, because you went in on the process. So like, you know, on the show on Monday, Montana, I kind of had a little bit of a back and forth on Juneteenth, because, you know, we are opposed on that, and I understand where Montana feels, you know, it's kind of separatist. I actually saw. Are you familiar with the 700 Club?
Yeah, I've heard it.
So basically, like, the 700 Club is, you know, a conservative, you know, Christian type of publication, and they, you know, they talk about a lot of social political issues on that show from a Christian perspective, but it definitely has you know, a white male lens, and they had a woman on there who was a black woman, a former professor from Vanderbilt University, and she was basically on there. And I'm just saying that to address what you were talking about with trying to erase, you know, Black history from the education system. So she was talking about critical race theory and was opposed to critical race theory being addressed in schools. Essentially, and I don't remember her name, I just remember her being a former. Firstly, I remember her being Black. Let's start with that. And I also remember her being. I'm going to address why I said it that way in a second, but she was also, you know, a representative of the academic community. When you have people from the academic community, it just kind of legitimizes the I guess the credibility of the person's testimony and research that has been done on the topic.
That's just one person.
So here's the issue that I had with her stance, because it was similar to Montana's, basically saying that if critical race theory is taught in school, it's going to teach young people to recognize race and see the disparities amongst the races, and make people who are of minorities in this country feel that they're less than. And if it you know, if a person has a negative interaction with a person of another race, then it's automatically going to make that person stereotype and hold biases and prejudices based on that negative interaction. So therefore, that they came to the conclusion that critical race theory is going to be more separatist.
Well, isn't that what happens now?
Thank you. Thank you.
My face didn't get any more scrunched up than it already was.
Thank you.
That's what happens now. I mean, it's lack of education about learning about other cultures.
Right.
I mean, and it's unfortunate the Black culture has the brunt of all the negativity when it comes to our culture. We have to actually, we should be able to open a book and see that we come from kings and queens. We should be able to look at a book and see that we got to actually dig the internet, find out. We got to actually do some deep digging to find out about our own history.
Yeah.
Why hide so much? If it ain't legit, I mean, if you guys are legitimately trying to help us out and legitimately trying to make us equal, why hide our history? Why make it hard for us to find out about ourselves? Because if we find out our rich history and how powerful we were back in the day, that might incite us to come together as one whole people and become powerful again. So how do you keep somebody down? Keep them away from all the knowledge they could possibly get about themselves and who they really are.
Yeah, I mean, knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that makes the power. So it's more so. It's like anybody that self-actualizes and becomes self-aware. It's like, oh, I really do have these. It's like when you see superhero movies and they're finding themselves and they're recognizing their super strength or their supernatural abilities. It's like, oh, I know how to do this. Oh, I can jump from building to building. Oh, I can lift this car over my head. I can have telekinetic powers, whatever their gift is. It's one of those things where when you tap into that energy and all these people who have tapped into that energy come together for a common cause, that can be scary for, an oppressive institution that exploits the lack of that knowledge.
Yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Does it not?
Yeah.
We're seeing the ramifications of that right now.
Right.
The corruption is everywhere. I mean, now we're at a part of knowledge corruption. So now I guess our society now has a rider's wave of disbelief.
Right.
The facts are no longer important because now they're questionable whether they're facts or not, or some else's, emotional account of what happened, So now we're riding that wave, so everything can be questioned now, even down to slavery. I heard one kid say, I don't know what actually happened. I'm like, what? Are you serious?
So
we don't see it because we don't see the proof of it now. That means its history may never have happened. It could have been made up like everything else, like the Bible might be made up too. I'm like, I don't get it. I mean, everybody can't be lying with the same exact history happened. You know what I mean?
Well, so there is a such thing as the what was it? The Mandela effect, and people can have a collective incorrect memory. So that can happen, especially when the inconsistencies or the fallacies aren't challenged. I would just say that again.
Pictures don't lie.
Yeah, like explain, the man with his back all chopped up. Explain the lynching photos with men, women, and children having, basically having a party and enjoying the moment. You know what I'm saying? Their tape that was their version of the selfie.
You're hunting animal and hey, I got my catch. Like you're hunting an elephant, you're posing for the ivory. You got the the head of an elephant.
Like when the elephant or the fisherman with his fish on the hook kind of that's how they're celebrating. So the whole hype of it is that when it comes to Juneteenth, because we can go down a rabbit hole on race relations and things of that nature, but when it comes to Juneteenth, my biggest issue, but why I disagree with Montana on that, is that the crux of diversity and inclusion is all about celebrating everyone's differences. Why we as people of color tend to be able to embrace that a little bit more is because we don't view the recognition and the acknowledgement of each other's differences as the downplaying or the denigrating of another's. Which is why I was trying to bring up the issue, not the issue, but the notion of having a birthday. When it's when every day somebody's birthday, when it's your birthday, we're going to celebrate you. Doesn't mean we all suck because it's your birthday. It just means no, like, yo, happy birthday, Roz. When it's cute, when it's my birthday, people's gonna be like, yo, happy birthday, Q. It doesn't mean me as Q gonna be like, oh, you all suck, it's my birthday. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people do get real pretentious about their birthday. I'm definitely gonna say the Virgos are probably I called the Virgos out on that, but
explain that one.
Well, no, I was just kind of just playing, but like we all big up ourselves, but we do it in jest. You know what I'm saying? But it's not to really say that we're better than, but in America, in the white male dominated paradigm that we live in America, is going to always seem like anybody that tries to big themselves up or have what we call black pride, seems like black pride is going to be black supremacy. And that's not, we don't view the world from that lens, because we just want to coexist. We don't want to conquer and colonize.
No.
Just let us have ours and leave us alone. We'll let you have yours and we'll leave you alone. But you want to have yours and ours.
The same food, we have blood, we share organs. What more we got to do to make ourselves be considered equal? I don't understand.
Right. And so the one other thing I wanted to address there's two things I wanted to address in regards to what you said, as far as like erasing the history. Kids want to know why things are the way they are.
Yes, they do.
So we're going to be cheating them out of the truth if we just try to say, like when Ben Carson had made that comment about, everyone emigrated here. And that's not accurate. I also pointed out to my own children, we were driving around, speaking of, just the way history is, why do we have so many towns and cities around and states around the country named after Native Americans, but you don't see any Native Americans living there? All these schools named after different Native American tribes and stuff, but no Native Americans go to those schools. Why? You know what I'm trying to say? So that's what I'm saying in regards to, giving the education system a fair shake at the truth of historical truths.
We got to know all of it.
Yeah.
The good, the ugly. We can't just paint this picture as if everything was great. Because at some point, it was great for some and horrible for others. Right. And then vice versa. But we can't sit there because it was horrible for the minority or whatever that, y'all don't count. Because we have our great times too, but you can't belittle it. You know what I mean? You can't make it seem like it's insignificant and it's nothing to it. We're not contributing because we did contribute.
Yeah, and that's part of the gaslighting that can happen too, where it belittles people's collective experience, where it's like, it really wasn't that bad, or you're exaggerating, or you're just making something out of nothing, and it's like,
if you can make that assumption and you have proof to back it up, that's all I got to say about that.
Right.
And you have to be able to walk in another person's shoes for a month or two in that person's skin color too.
Right.
And then tell me how you feel about that. A lot of people don't want to do that because they know if you don't want to do that, take on that challenge, you know how it is. You deep down in your heart, you know you don't be that person.
Right.
It could be you laying on the ground somewhere. You want to risk your life because you know it's dangerous.
Exactly. So that's the thing that that we come to when we discuss the separation that could possibly happen with a Juneteenth. No, it's not separation. It is celebration of the differences, which is the crux of all community and corporate diversity and inclusion.
Nobody separates Cinco de Mayo. Independence
St.
Day,
Patrick's Day, or any national observance. But it's only when ours come up where it's like, oh, we're going to be separated. Stop, and we can't stop putting a black face on these things. Like, okay, there are some black people that are tired of it. Okay, if you're tired of it, go be tired of it quietly over there, and let the people that want to speak up and see change, let them do that. Don't knock them for taking their role for fighting for that change.
Right.
And then the last thing I'll address that you discussed was the redlining, and I just always found it interesting that when they do the property values of different neighborhoods, homes and such, that you don't see a lot of diversity and inclusion with the appraisal side of things. You know what I'm saying? So you're seeing, more minority representation as the agents the brokers, maybe even on the lending aspect of things. But the appraisers are the ones that are saying, oh, this is going to be worth that.
Well, see, that's the thing right there. That can stop that. If you have a criteria across the board that fits for anything. So criteria for, a certain house or a certain square footage, certain number of bedrooms, certain number of bathrooms,
right?
It should be the same across the board. It shouldn't be the fact that if I answer the door or someone else answers the door, lighter skin tone, oh yeah, you're going to go up $100,000 because you're not that.
Right. So
want to discourage y'all from moving to our nation, so we're going to up. You know what I mean? So
there is, to a certain extent, Crooktooth, what up, my brother? So to a certain extent, there is a standard. There is a standard for the way properties are valued, because they do base it off of price per square foot, and then that's how they kind of come up with what they call comps. They do a comparative analysis between the properties that are similar to each other based on firstly square footage, but then the different amenities and features that exist on a property, bedrooms, bathrooms, basement, other types of fixtures, etc. The thing is, it could be like that in one particular neighborhood, then right across the street it'll be, exact opposite. Par, what's up, my bro? So
you have in Philly, the new houses are being built in the old blocks. Across the street, $80,000 home. Across the street from that, $500,000.
And that's where the discrepancies come into play when we talk about how certain neighborhoods got the way they are, and how certain families and communities are able to build wealth quicker than others. If people are taking property or taking equity out of their homes to get loans and do other things, it's going to be different for me if I'm able to take 150,000 and you're able to take 350,000, and we live in the same kind of house. You know what I'm trying to say? So
gentrification, right?
Yeah, word. So bottom line is Juneteenth and any other national observance that is meant to highlight the milestones of a community should be recognized and celebrated across the board. That's how we create that awareness for each other and that love. It's not about separation, it's about celebration. Word up. So that's Juneteenth, and what is your suggestion in regards to how we big up Juneteenth on at a business level? You had made a comment on Monday. Do you remember?
Oh man. Oh yeah. So support your businesses of your community.
Word.
And don't just do it for that one day. Make it a starting point going forward. Majority, it ain't gotta be every single thing.
Right.
But the majority of the money stays in the community.
Word.
Don't let the bias of the media that's been making us look bad with our stuff deter you from investing in Black businesses, building your own business, and also, supporting your community, period. If you want it to grow, you have to feed into it like anything else, like any other plant. You plant a seed, you got to keep watering it. The water is the money.
There you go.
You put money into it, the tree will grow.
So,
you don't put money into it, it's going to wither away, and then we're going to sit and complain about why somebody else came from out of town and bought up all of our properties and businesses in our area.
There he is. So that's what we got to do, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember to understand the history, and not just Juneteenth, but may this be an awareness for all national observances. Right. That we learn the history. We have the history at our fingertips at a moment's notice. Nowadays we have computers in our hands. Let's use them wisely.
We can't get better if we don't learn from the past.
Word. And there's a lot of events. There's a lot of events taking place June 19th. So, definitely tap in and support. And then you and Lashia had used that as a segue to talk about another Black business, of which we're representing today, because there's a resurgence of an event coming up in August.
Oh, Philly Jam.
All right.
As an artist, Q, I'm like you take the lead on that one, because you going to be performing this Philly Jam.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I'm excited about it. It would actually be like my first live in-person performance pretty much since the quarantine, because I've only done some spoken word pieces through church, and we do that on Zoom and Facebook. So this would actually be the first time for me, like, getting in front of a crowd. I might get in a couple just to get on stage and kind of work out some kinks and rust and stuff like that, but that'll be like the first like big event, you know what I mean? So I'm excited about it.
I'm like y'all's biggest fan. So.
I appreciate you. And my homie Stevie Frank.
Pound and go crazy.
Yeah, we gonna have it nice. We're gonna have interviews, vendors. There are sponsorships and other performance slots available. So definitely tap into Union 215. Make sure you chop it up with Montana Black so he can go over all the event details. I know he said he wasn't going to be performing, but I'm definitely I'm putting it out there. I'm definitely trying to get him on something. Yeah, because we did a whole album. We did a whole album, and it's like, bro, like, how you not going to get on the mic one time for the one time?
I mean, just give us a taste.
You know what I mean? He's going to get on for the one time. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So. I mean, how does it feel to come back? I mean, how does it feel to have an iconic event come back exactly 13 years later and not perform at least one song? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Montana, that's your hallmark right there, brother. So you gotta at least touch the mic, bust the stage one time for the kid. Gotta do it for the culture. For the culture.
Yeah, do it for the culture.
Word. You know what I mean? We talked about Prince.
August 28th, right?
Yeah, August 28th. We don't have the exact location yet, so that location is I'm not sure if it's to be determined for us, or if he's it's one of those things where it's like just he's keeping it private just for exclusivity's sake. I'm not quite sure about that part.
The venue information will let you guys know, but right now we're still working that out.
Yeah, no doubt. But
mark your calendars anyway, though. August 28th.
Yeah, man, definitely save the date. Prince. We talked about whether Prince was overrated or underrated.
Well, first off, I didn't get a chance to forget. What's your favorite Prince song?
My favorite Prince song? Won't you please? The most beautiful girl in the world. Yeah. You're the reason why God made a girl. Yeah, I'll stop. I'm doing too much.
You singing to your daughter?
Yes. But but that's like that is for just one example of the many hits that he's had that have pretty much been the soundtrack for people's lives. My
favorite song, of course, was Scandalous.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the song. I mean, I heard it on Batman. When first Batman came out.
Oh, the Batman soundtrack. That day, it parted down.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Prince before, but then that song became my favorite song.
Word.
And stuff. And of course, he has Diamonds and Pearls too. That's my.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's got so many. Little Red Corvette. I mean, here's the thing. Like I know that Mike was more popular. You know, like statistically, they say Mike is second only to Jesus as far as like worldwide notoriety.
Well, I mean, he can make people faint just by standing up on stage. Remember the concert Super Bowl?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those girls were going crazy. They were crying. They were passing out all over the place.
Man, dudes was crying over Michael Jackson. Like, let's keep it a bean. But the whole hype of it for Prince is that, you know,
he's a lot of good stuff. He just, like you said, I think his particular music and he's like a different acquired taste. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think Michael was more of a main plate meal everybody can get a piece of and enjoy it, whatever, no matter who they were. Prince was like, he had a lot of good songs, a lot of mainstream songs, but I think he was kind of an acquired taste and acquired look all together.
Yeah, you know, they both kind of took on that androgynous look that was popular in the 80s amongst like the punk rocker crowd. But I think Prince catered more to the punk rockers a little bit more. Like his audience was kind of like the clubs, just like you saw in the Purple Rain movie. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a real community. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole movement they had in Minnesota, like that was how all those bands would actually compete like that night after night and stuff. And I actually heard interviews with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis talking about how they were in rival bands and like Prince and Morris Day kind of, you know, collaborated and all brought them together. You know what I'm saying? And they created a movement. But Mike's, you know, and Ja touched on this on Monday. Mike's influence started from when he was with his brothers in Motown. Right. So people grew up with him, and his crowd was more the disco kind of crowd. You know what I'm saying? And then that disco, pop music. Yeah, so like that, and he kind of leveraged other genre blending type of sounds for his music, which is what gave him, you know, more of a crossover appeal. You know what I'm saying? But because I don't think Mike would have collaborated with Van Halen. Was it Van Halen that did the guitar riff for Beat It? So like I don't know if Mike would have gone in that direction without a Prince kind of giving him, you know, iron sharpens iron, right? So and they had a little rivalry, not like a bitter, not like a bitter rivalry, but you know, just like professional rivals.
Personal courtesy, like you got this, like you can have that a little bit, you know what I mean?
I think they were all competing. You know what I'm saying? But I think they had a mutual respect at the same time. Because like you figure it was Mike, Prince, Rick James, Bobby Brown. Like as far as like the black artists that, you know, had the game on lock in the 80s.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
With Eddie Van Halen, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a Van Halen. I heard he only charged Mike like a couple racks for that.
Yeah.
Like a flat fee, like no royalties or nothing. He probably was high. He's probably drunk or high or something.
Involved, you know?
Yeah, he's probably drunk or high. Like, all right, yeah, go ahead, Mike. You can take. Go ahead, give me a beer. And then beat it, still making money 40 years later. Like,
I I'm sure he was more like honored to be a part of it than he was actually just to play. He's probably like, oh my God, they need to pay me, whatever. I don't care. I want to play. You know what I mean?
Right.
Be on stage with Michael, share that stage with him, that whole time for that little bit with him. It was probably life changing for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it would have been more life changing had he gotten, residuals off of that song. But yeah, man, big up to MJ, big up to Prince. We talked Philly Jam. Do we address the business credit yet?
Oh yeah, well, you can business credit. How can you acquire business credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look that up real quick.
Well, there's a couple ways. I mean, the first thing, right, is you can establish business credit just by one getting a business bank account, right? You set up an LLC or what have you, get you a bank account. You know what I'm saying? And then when it comes to just purchasing items and whatnot, if it depends on what your line of business is, but if you're getting equipment from Home Depot, Staples, or whatever, it's the same way you would do personal credit. You just get your items and then make sure that you pay them off.
Right. I think also business credit, you make sure it's legitimate business. It can't be a fake, made up shit. You gotta actually get a legitimate business going, because I don't know if you heard about this, but a lot of people are getting busted.
Oh, with that PPP loans.
Yes, 20,000 here, 40,000 there. They're getting in serious trouble because they made a business name up, So I have a business too. Let me get that money, and they go out and splurge on stupid shit. They're not actually for a business they actually didn't have, and now IRS is like anting up.
Yeah, I mean it's called a loan,
right?
Hello.
I mean, but you thought they were gonna let it go because it's COVID? No.
Some people probably did think that, to keep it a bean. That's unfortunate. So the PPP loan was not a way to establish your business credit, ladies and gentlemen.
No. In case you didn't get that memo.
Nah. But I mean, you want to set it up where you can get, you can establish some lines of credit. You can start with like credit cards and things of that nature. Eventually you want to get. Say that again.
I just have a couple of things.
Oh yeah, go for it.
It said 8 easy steps on how to establish business credit. Put your business on the map first off. I guess that'd be like Google, let it be seen, let it be visible type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Second, maintain good credit with suppliers and your vendors.
All right, but the first piece with it being visible, it would still also have to be get registered with a tax ID and so on and so forth, right?
Oh yeah, because you have the third one, obtain an employer identification number or EIN.
All right, there you go. All right, no doubt.
Pay one time, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Open a business credit card.
Yep.
Get incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
Separate business professional expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And then monitor your credit.
Right.
Those
so
are easy steps to say.
Yeah. So these are all things, and that's what Montana had touched on, and Lashia, who also happens to work in the financial services field professionally, can speak to, because the idea is one thing to be able to personally guarantee a loan, but it's another thing when you have a business that can guarantee things, and then they actually have different terms as far as the payback time frames, because you might have
the interest too. Yeah.
So the interest is a whole other aspect of it that a lot of people probably underestimate. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it's like, oh well, we can have this this minimum payment or what have you, but the interest is still so high that an item that may be $1,000, you might end up paying 1,500, 1,700 for it, and they're banking on the fact that you're not going to pay it all off right away.
And that's the thing. I think another biggest thing is educating yourself. I mean, I think technology is great having accessible to us, but we want everything so quick, fast, in a hurry. We don't take time to read nothing.
Yeah.
So a lot of things get missed. A lot of things we could be like doing with ourselves, business-wise, or even personal-wise with our lives, but we see only the headlines of what somebody puts out in front of us versus actually reading below the headlines, reading the print, and actually educating ourselves on how, why, when, and where on things. But we don't do that.
Yeah.
So, like you said, they're banking on that.
I mean, it's banking, like, for real, like literally banking.
I mean,
that is a form of income. That is, we talked about different streams of income and rental income and interest income are how they get off on, or not just get off, but like almost in a way get over on people, because they'll bring you in on introductory rates and then raise them up on you later. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you don't have to pay anything right now. But now they have you contractually obligated to pay this money. You know what I'm saying?
I've been duped before. I didn't know. I mean, they said, oh, there's going to be this price here and this particular payment per month, but you got paid within a certain amount of months. And first you're thinking, I can do that, no problem. Then that loan matures, and then you're paying more interest on it, more than you thought you was going to pay. And now only half of your payment goes to the actual paying down the item, and on the other half goes to interest alone.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put myself in a position to have to do balloon payments either, because most people, if you don't already have it set aside, don't set yourself up for that. You have to be extremely disciplined to be putting it away and not touch it to have it to pay that balloon payment on the end. You know what I'm saying? It's to me, it seems like more of a setup for failure if you rock out like that.
Yeah,
but they do.
Like I said, most people don't know. They see the low numbers in the beginning, and they figure, okay, let me go ahead and get that taken care of, and then at the end, oh yeah, by the way, in case you forgot, same like it's fine, lease a car. Leasing a car, yeah, I drive a lot, so leasing a car for me would be out of the question.
Right.
Because I paid my miles big time. What I did one time, I think I went over my one car. I had leased my first lease. I got it brand new, no money down.
Yeah.
Paid my car in. I was like, yeah, man. And then all of a sudden, I paid the car almost off. No, I did pay the car off. But what happened was, oh yeah, you went over your miles when you leased. And I'm like, because I travel so much, I think I put $6,000 over in mileage.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, but if the terms of your lease are up, you can always change from a lease to a finance agreement.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And they didn't tell me that either.
Yeah, they're not going to, because again, they're banking on the idea that they say, gotcha. You know what I'm saying? So like they find ways to not lose. So it's up to shout out to UTV Raps too, because he's hooking us up with this one is the Hip Hop Prodigies track that he's playing right now. So I want to make sure I big up O Styles and my homies from Hip Hop Prodigies. That's where Crooktooth was on as well. And I did a collaboration with him, Food Chain Dame, with a beat and Hell's Yeah with a beat produced by Amit Kane. So that's what's, I don't know if y'all can hear it. It's kind of low right now. I've been kind of leery playing music loud after they dissed me last week. You know what I'm saying? They clipped my joint like clank, like no warning or nothing. They just ended that joint like,
you done.
Yeah, word. But you know what I'm saying? Like the whole hype of it is with utilizing credit. Just know the terms, the time frames that you have, know what the interest rates would be, know what the payments are, And from a cash flow management perspective, when you have business credit and they give you longer terms to pay stuff off, that actually might be to your advantage if you have the money to run. If you look at somebody like a Grant Cardone, you know, one of his philosophies is we don't have the money till we get the money, so don't ever spend the money till you have the money. Meaning that if you don't spend it, you don't spend that cash till you get the cash. If you have an accounts receivable, don't spend the money till the cash is actually in your hands. You know what I'm saying? Don't go like getting all these new expenses because you you quote unquote secured an account with a new client.
Remember Mr. Martin? Remember he thought he hit the lottery?
What was this one?
Mr. Martin.
Oh yeah, that was a perfect example of that.
All this other stuff, and he was spending money like crazy. Come to find out he didn't hit that kind of money like that.
Right. So like that's real rap. So again, don't spend it until you got it. That's just a life lesson right there.
You know, I celebrity birthdays. I remember talking about that on the beginning of the show last time, right? I came across the story, but I'll be sure.
Okay.
He's 54, right?
He's what?
54.
He's 54 now? Okay. I can tell you how I feel about you night and day.
And then this was that song, because his story they were talking about in a short bio, I guess he got some kind of sickness or whatever. He was only diagnosed for like 3 or 4 months to live.
Oh, wow. How long ago was that?
That was last year.
I'd never heard that.
Me neither. I was like, when I read, I'm like, what?
Wow.
He almost didn't make it? I'm like, whoa.
Yo, I did not know that. Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, God bless him really good, because he was happy to be able to celebrate his birthday, he said, this year, because he really almost didn't make it last year. I mean, I think he said it was 300-something pounds he was, and he had really gotten unhealthy. And
I saw him a couple years ago at the Radio 1 convention. I thought he performed that night. I'm not sure if it was him or it was Christopher Williams, or I think both of them were there that day. Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago, though.
They didn't say in detail what the sickness was.
Okay.
They didn't put anything like that. They just said he was only diagnosed 3 to 4 months to live if he didn't change his lifestyle. I'm like, whoa. So he did. He changed his lifestyle. They had a picture of him in a hospital gown. He was like, he had some kind of thing with his gallbladder.
Right.
Some other kind of other disease with some gallbladder issue and some other issue with some kind of blockage, something like that in his body. Bile blockage. Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, bile is not good for the body. It has to be excreted out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was really sick, and he was only given 3 or 4 months to live. He didn't change his ways. So, yeah, I was like, wow, I was really shocked to see that. I was like, I'm happy he's here. I'm happy he's made it and everything like that. So.
Dang.
Yeah, I know he came out. I think I was like, when I started liking him, I was like, what, 4 or 5 years old? Like, I wasn't. My sister was the real age group his fan. You know, she was all into Album Shore and everything else like that.
Word.
So I picked up what
he had his run, man. Of the light skinned men were killing it in the 80s and the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? I hate to bring up the whole colorism thing, but it just was what it was. You know what I'm saying? They were even in hip hop, like LL Cool J was the other, you know what I'm saying, like Run DMC, you know what I'm saying? Like they all were on the lighter side of the complexions in those days, you know what I'm saying? Joakim, what up? What up? Joakim on Jock the Rock. You know what I mean?
Jock the Rock.
So yeah, man. And then before we conclude, we talked about auto-tune a little bit too.
Yeah, auto-tune, yay or nay. Like I said before, I'm for, as long as the moderation is to enhance, not to, I say, overdo someone else's voice. You know what I mean? You can't go in there sound like a frog and want to sound like Michael Jackson or something like that. You know what I mean? You got to have some kind of tune to carry, so auto-tune can actually work in your favor.
Right. Like I think one of the biggest displays of how auto-tune works in someone's favor was that "Tardy for the Party" song that was that got popularized on one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because remember Candy from Escape. She became a famous writer in the industry. She like penned a lot of hit records, and the white John on that show, it wanted to make a song, got in the studio, and she was pretty pitchy, like almost tone deaf. So she could carry the beat, but she was just off. But I remember the engineer that was working with Candy, put all her notes on the right pitch, and it was digitized in a way that it almost sounded like natural singing. It didn't have that same tinny sound that you would hear with a talk box or a vocoder or the Melloton, whatever, what I'm saying, that all the digitized sound that you're hearing now by like Little Baby or something like that. Yeah.
As long as the engineering technique for enhancement and not identity. I agree.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing. Like it can almost work along with the song. I think T-Pain did a great job with ushering in that wave. Kanye West did a whole album with it. The 808's a Heartbreak John. Some people loved that album. Some people hated it. I was kind of in the middle with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my take.
And I've never actually been in the studio to experience auto-tune, what it sounds like to me. So maybe one day I'll get a chance to do that. I rather tune my own voice.
I think Montana uses it a little bit. I know even on the theme song for the Union show, he used it on the hook. Come from the bottom, come straight from the block, that. Yeah, like that part.
We gotta do our own new theme song, all of us, popping a lyric or two in there. I think it'd be a nice collabo.
I'm with it. Just we're in the studio every Monday at 9 p.m. So
what time we get there? What time we go on live? 9 o'clock. Right?
Yeah, so we can do it. We just gotta do it.
We're talking about what Monday? We're gonna be talking about Raised on Survival and Raised on Love. Yeah.
Well, that's not this upcoming Monday. That's the following Monday. So that'll be the first one in July when we'll be talking about that. Yep.
That's right. We take a Monday off next week, right?
They're going to play a I'm not sure which episode, but he's going to say he's going to play another episode, previous episode.
Do a throwback on Monday.
Yeah, throwback. So you get to see, our pre-adolescence.
Became matured.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
When he first texted me that, I said, Rise. I'm like, what? I'm not doing no verses with nobody. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who the hell's ROL anyway? I'm like, oh, okay, it ain't me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
You thought he just misspelled Roz?
You say MC Roz?
That would be funny. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying? We definitely touched on everything from Monday. It's 10 o'clock, right?
Right.
But yeah. But we'll be back. We'll be back because we can kind of tease it next Thursday when we talk about you know what I'm saying, raised on survival versus raised on love. Because Montana actually touched on it he went live. I want to say it was either Tuesday or yesterday, I forget. But he was talking about it a little bit too.
Okay.
Yep.
So on that note, it's about that time to call tonight. Word.
So definitely, lock in with us for August 28th, the Philly Jam. Send us topics, questions, concerns, comments, or whatever. That you you know, you might feel differently from us, and that's okay. We don't, you know, we're not going to act like we're the experts. We will share our experiences,
right, and we will listen to your experience.
There it is.
With civility and equality and respect.
Facts. All right, you and I on Society, the Afterthought. Check us out, Union. You and I on Society. Make sure you check that the episode that we're going to drop on Monday. Look out, we'll be dropping more posts, more skits, and all that stuff too.
Thursdays at 9:00 here. What is it? Q Motion _rhyme book.
Word. And Lovely Lady 7173.
Yep, that'd be me.
All right, y'all. Have a great one. Enjoy y'all Juneteenth weekends. Enjoy y'all Juneteenth weekends. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to have fun.
All right, that's what's up.
I'm probably going out in the crowd, so, you know, still got COVID out here, so I'm still keeping
Hey, mask up, especially if you're not, especially if you haven't taken that prick yet. You know what I'm saying? Pause. The needle prick. I mean.
We're over 500,000 people now. 6 million people, 600,000 people.
Yeah, you know, it's coming along.
There's 400 a day still dying from COVID.
So that's a topic for another show. But say all that to say, take care of yourselves, mask up as need be vigilant, be smart. All right.
Word.
Enjoy your weekend, y'all.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.